do is we're going to do section 9.1, and we're going to do day 2. So day 1, we named polynomials. That was the first standard. The second standard today is add and subtract polynomials. All right. Today is very similar to when we did elimination. Do you remember when we did elimination with linear equations? We lined up our x's and we lined up our y's and then our equal signs and then our constants. Remember how we lined that stuff up? This is very similar to that. So if you remember that, this will be pretty easy. The first step that we're going to take is we're going to make sure these equations are in standard form, right? And then once we know they're in standard form, we're going to line up the terms. So let's take a look at the first one. Is the first polynomial in standard form? Yes, it is. Okay, if I named the first polynomial, what would its first name be? Cubic. Okay, cubic because the exponent is a 3. The highest exponent is a 3. Okay, and what would its last name be? Trinomial because it has 3 terms. Very good. All right, so I'm going to rewrite the first one a little bit. I'm going to write 4x cubed. I'm going to go plus x squared, and then I'm going to leave a little spot, and I'm going to put 5, minus 5. Okay, and you go, well, why did you leave that spot? You're going to find out in just a minute. Okay. The second polynomial, is that in standard form? No, it is not. So what one would come first? X cubed, and then, yep, minus 3x squared, and then plus 7. Now watch where I put plus 7x. I'm going to put a line, I'm going to write addition, and I'm going to cup it. And remember, we kind of cupped it when we did elimination. Okay. Now, why did I leave a spot up here? That's correct. There's no x term, just x term, right? And if you want to, you can put like a little 0 in there to kind of use it as a placeholder, right? And then you'll notice out here, I also have a blank spot. Why? Right, I don't have just a number. So you've got to line things up, and you can put zeros in for placeholders if you wish. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this. I've got 4x cubed plus 1x cubed. And what would I get? 5x to the 3rd power. Okay, some kids ask me, well, Mrs. Medvick, don't I add the exponents? The only time you add the exponents is when you're multiplying. And we are not multiplying, we're adding. So it's kind of like 4 zebras plus 1 zebra. Right? I got 5 zebras. So you leave it as x cubed. All right, now I've got 1x squared plus a negative 3x squared. What do I get? Negative 2x squared. Right. All right, I've got nothing plus 7x, so I get plus 7x. And negative 5 plus nothing gives me negative 5. And this is my new polynomial. Now, what's the first name? Cubic, because my exponent, the highest exponent is the 3. Second name, last name would be? Polynomial with 4 terms. Right, because you'll notice there's 4 terms. Questions? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. Again, I'm going to line it up in standard form. Is the first polynomial in standard form? Yes, it is. So I'm going to write it down. I'm going to go 4z squared. I'm going to leave a little space, and I'm going to go minus 3. How would I name that polynomial? What would be the first name? Quadratic. The highest exponent is 2. And how many terms? 2. So I would call it it would be a binomial. So I got a quadratic binomial. All right. Let's take this second one. I've got minus 2z squared plus 5z minus 1. Okay. And you'll notice that it asks me to subtract. So I'm going to put a minus out here, and I'm going to cup it. And I'm going to put a little 0 in here just as a space holder. All right, now this can be tricky, very similar to elimination, so you gotta be careful. I've got 4z squared minus a negative 2z squared. 6z squared. Nothing minus 5z makes it negative 5z. And 3, negative 3 minus a negative 1 gives me negative 2. And that's my answer. And how would I name that? What would be the first name? Quadratic. Second name? Trinomial. That is correct. All right. That is it for today. If you remember all the hard work you put in with elimination, with linear equations, it'll be a breeze. It won't be hard for you at all. Make sure when you're doing your homework, you check your answers.